You ever had someone with a little bit of power act like they own your whole world? Picture this: a landlord, red-faced and hollering on your doorstep, thinking he's untouchable because he holds the keys. That was my life a while back, and let me tell you, watching that same guy dig his own grave figuratively, of course, was a wild ride. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. But when a bully tries to toss your family out on the street over petty nonsense, and then life swings back and hits him harder than he ever hit you, that's a story worth telling. Grab a seat, because this one's got twists, a touch of revenge, and a whole lot of karma. For over 11 years, my wife, Emily, our 2 kids, and I called this faded yellow house home. It wasn't fancy, think creaky floors, a roof that leaked when it felt like it, and a backyard where squirrels ruled like tiny mob bosses. We raised our babies in that house, laughed at the squirrels stealing walnuts, and patched up whatever broke, because waiting on our landlord, let's call him Carl, was like waiting for rain in a desert. Carl wasn't the worst at first. He'd leave you alone if you didn't ask for much. Rent was cheap, so we played along, fixing things ourselves, keeping the peace. Looking back, though, we were just making excuses for a guy who only played nice when he felt like the king of his little empire. Carl had this way of treating the property like his personal castle. He'd grumble about fixing the plumbing, moan about his bank account, and act like we owed him our souls for letting us stay. We let it slide. What's one more dripping faucet, right? He even let us use this rickety, old, shed-out back, splintered wooden box half claimed by those squirrels. We store a lawnmower, some kids' toys, and the barbecue grill in there. Nothing fancy, just stuff to keep the house from turning into a junkyard. Everything was fine, or so we thought, until last winter when Carl decided to flip the script. One chilly afternoon, Carl shows up, chest puffed out like he's on a mission. He starts grilling me about the shed, claiming the neighbors are whining about a mouse problem, and somehow that's our fault. It's got to look nice. He barks like he's ever cared about curb appeal. Now, Emily had just given birth to our youngest, and I was fresh off shoulder surgery, barely able to lift a coffee mug. We told him we'd get to the shed when we could. You'd think a guy who's known us for a decade would cut us some slack. Nope. Carl starts firing off these passive-aggressive texts. So, reminder, tomorrow's garbage day. Let's keep things tidy for everyone. So I try to keep it CIVYL, even asked if he'd fix the roof or maybe haul away his rusty old pickup truck rotting in the back. If we're talking appearances, let's talk about his pile of scrap metal, right? Big mistake. Next thing I know, Carl's in my kitchen announcing in front of my kids about his money troubles, the economy, and how our junk in the shed is ruining his property. He's dropping F-bombs while VYing his arms, and then he hits us with it. If you don't like it, get out. I can get way more for this place than what you pay. Just like that, we're staring down an EVY tie-in threat over a shed full of toys and squirrel nuts. I'm fuming, but I keep my cool and tell him we're done talking face to face. From now on, everything's in writing. He storms out, muttering, "Fine, we'll do it by the book." Oh, Carl, you had no idea what you just unleashed. The next day, an EVY tie-in notice lands in our mailbox. 7 days to fix the issues, or he's filing for a hearing. The letter's a mess of lies accusing us of excessive garbage, and even bringing up a time 2 years back when we fell behind on rent, like we hadn't paid up every month since. Half the mess he's whining about: his own junk-broken fence, scrap piles, that stupid truck. Emily and I look at each other, and she just shakes her head. She's done being pushed around. That afternoon, I'm out there, shoulder aching, hauling every last thing out of that shed, busted toys, the grill, even bags of walnuts those squirrels left behind. Emily's on a mission of her own, snapping photos of the empty shed, Carl's untouched scrap piles, and every broken thing he swore he'd fix. Then she makes a call that changes everything: city bylaw enforcement and the local rental board. See, Emily's got this quiet fire in her. She's patient, but when you threaten her family, she's a force of nature. While I'm elbow deep in squirrel poop, she's digging into tenant laws. Turns out, we've been sitting on a gold mine of leverage. In our town, landlords need to give 24-hour written notice before stepping foot inside your home, no exceptions. That shed? It's an amenity, meaning Carl can't just take it away without cutting our rent. And if you let your property fall apart, leaky roofs, busted locks, unsafe junk piles, the city doesn't come for the tenant. They come for saw you saw. A week later, city inspectors roll up. Carl's nowhere to be found, so I give them the grand tour. The roof that drips like a faucet, the plumbing that groans like it's haunted, the back door that barely locks, and the swampy mess where Carl's truck has been sinking for years. The inspectors aren't impressed. Emily hands over a folder thicker than a phone book printed texts that EVY tie and notice photos of the shed before and after. The lead inspector's lips vanish into a thin line, and you can tell she's writing a report in her head that's going to ruin Carl's day. 2 days later, Carl gets a letter from the city. 90 days to fix the roof, the drains, the shed, and the plumbing. Plus, he's got to either replace the shed or cut our rent because, surprise, it's a loss of amenity. Oh, and those scrap piles and that filled-in pond out back. Fines. Big ones. Turns out, Carl never got a permit for that pond, and now there's no water source for fire trucks. If he doesn't clean it up, those daily fines will bleed him dry. You'd think he'd back off, but Carl's stubborn as a mule. He starts texting again. So I'll be by with the plumber in an hour. So I shoot back. Saw state law says 24-hour written notice, Carl. Not a minute less. Saw. That only makes it matter. He shows up anyway, pounding on our door, yelling about how Sam saw the hostile one, and he doesn't feel safe. I shut the blinds, pop in my headphones, and let Emily handle the police call. Yeah, he called the cops on Saw, the tenants he's been harassing. The officer, bless her, calls me instead of showing up. We told him to stop, she says. If you need us there tomorrow when he finally gives notice, let us know. I tell her we've got it covered. From there, we played it strictly by the book. Carl's project stalled. He couldn't sell the place, couldn't raise the rent, couldn't even step foot on the property without risking more fines. The city told him to tear down the shed and build a new one or knock a chunk off our rent until he did. His little kingdom? It turned into a prison of paperwork and inspectors. I'd spent years letting the small stuff slide: leaky roofs, broken fences, Carl's grumbling. Maybe I thought that's just how renting works. Keep your head down, don't make waves. But when someone threatens your home, your family, your peace, you find out how much fight you've got. Carl stopped looking us in the eye after that. Last I heard, he was trying to sell the place off-market, desperate to ditch the headache before the city slapped a lien on it. We never got an apology, but watching him realize he wasn't king anymore, that was enough. Sometimes, standing up means knowing the rules better than the bully. Sometimes, it means letting your wife play legal ninja while you're stuck shoveling squirrel poop in the rain. And sometimes, if you're lucky, karma's got a front row seat, clipboard in hand, ready to balance the scales. So what do you think? Was Carl just a guy trying to protect his property, or did he get what he deserved? Should we have pushed back sooner, or was playing nice for years the smarter move? And here's the big one. If you were in our shoes, would you have fought back or packed up and left? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you felt the rush of karma, and subscribe for more stories where the underdog comes out on top. Let's hear it. What would Saw have done?